Hello and welcome to the second day's coverage of the European Aquatics Youth Artistic Swimming Championships and Komen Cup. This stunning Olympic Aquatic Centre in Athens is a superb venue for these young athletes. It's hosted many events over the last years for artistic swimming, including World Series, World Youth Championships, and of course the 2004 Olympic Games. 180 athletes from 23 member federations, all aged between 13 and 15, 16 for the males. Well, they're all thrilled to be here. For many, it's a chance to compete on the international stage for the very first time. Yesterday, we started with the free preliminaries in the women's solo and duet. We now move on to the team free preliminaries. With 12 teams competing, all are guaranteed a place in the final, but everyone will be motivated to give their very best swim to achieve the highest possible result today. So I'm Andrea Holland, and once again, I'm delighted to be talking you through all of the action from the pool today. It's certainly been a fabulous European Aquatics Youth Championship so far. It's the first one with the new rules, so it's been a steep learning curve for everybody involved over the last year as the rules are embedded. And with those rule changes came a lot of changes on the pool side with the officials. We now have 2 panels of judges. Then we have difficulty technical controllers, synchronized technical controllers, and also we have a new ruling around apnea. So this means that no more than 50% of the routine can be underneath the water. There's a little bit of leeway on that, just 3 seconds. So the 3-minute routines today will be 1.5 minutes underwater and 1.5 minutes at the surface. There's a couple of reasons for that. Everyone was focusing so much on difficulty, understandably. The athletes, we need to have their safety very much paramount in our minds. So that's one of the reasons, to make sure that they're not underneath the water too long. But also the artistry was missing a little bit with the new rules, and this new ruling with the apnea means that there is more time for them to focus on the transitions, the choreography and the musicality above the surface of the water, as well as in the hybrids themselves. So the officials are about to be announced. Lysenius, the technical committee chairperson, joined by Mari Cavagiglu. Judith Vizzi, the referee for the day, for the whole competition, assisted by Yael Rubicek. And then we have the panels of judges as well. So there's one panel looking at the elements. So they give 9 separate scores. Of the 9 elements, there will be 3 acrobatic moves and 6 hybrids. So those 9 scores are multiplied by the assigned degree difficulty for the elements. And then for artistic impression, these are the 5 judges, and they look at choreography musicality, which is combined into 1 score. Then there's a separate score for presentations and 1 for transitions as well. The movement around the pool, the pattern changes, all falls under artistic as well. The difficulty technical controllers, they look at the 9 elements I was talking about before to make sure that they are done exactly as per the assigned degree difficulty. If they're not, then the difficulty will be reduced to a 0.5 base mark just for that element. And then the synchronized technical controllers, they are looking at the unequal actions within the team. So the synchronization errors, and it's just a 0.1 deduction for a small one, and then 0.5 for a medium, and if it's a large error, then it can be a 3-point deduction. This is the start list. Greece, the hosts, drawn to go last. And we wish every one of them a good swim. And hopefully they will all come out here and do their very best. As we start with the first team at this European Aquatics Youth Championships, the team preliminaries. This is the team from Poland. The theme is Balkan Spirit, and they start with a difficulty of 26.3. So straight into their first acrobatic move. This is an airborne one. And now their first hybrid. So now into the next hybrid with bonuses for 2 pattern changes within this. I like the way they're swimming very close together. That really helps them to set up for the acrobatic moves. And here we have the next one, a balance. Just moving forward on it, which was a shame. You have bonuses as well if all 8 are. Just need to be a little bit careful on the alignment there, but nice on the pattern change. Well, a well-rehearsed team there from Poland. I was very impressed with how tight they were on all of those patterns, and that really does make the pattern changes very much easier to perform, and also the acrobatic moves easier to set up. So a chance to look over again some of the action. This is what I mean about the tight pattern changes. And very quickly setting up here for the connected acrobatic move. Have a lot of fun trying to work out what to do that's original when it comes to the choreography. So the routine and the music was specially prepared for this competition. Within the team, you actually have triplets. The two of the sisters are actually swimming today, and the brother is a reserve. They've been together for around 6 months now and competed at the Hungarian Open Championships just last month, where they finished first. Coached by Ksenia Jadlowskaja and Alexandra Filipik. So their difficulty was 26.3. So when the scores come up, you will see on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see a figure for the synchronization deductions. That comes off the element score, and then you'll also see their difficulty. So if it isn't 26.3 on the difficulty, it means that they have been given a base mark, maybe even more than one, on some of the hybrids and the acrobatic moves that they did. And that's why sometimes it can take a little bit of time for these scores to come up, because the technical controllers on the synchronization and the difficulty are analyzing it, making sure that they are aligned and in agreement. They can rewatch it on the video, but as soon as they make a decision, the scores will be up. And if the decision isn't clear, it goes in the favor of the athletes. So unlike senior competition, we don't have technical programs here, and instead of that we have figures which are taking place later today. The average of those figure scores will be added to the preliminary scores we're seeing today to decide on where they're placed for the final. The competition continuing over the next couple of days here in Athens, and really gets very exciting from tomorrow, with medals to be won for both the European Championships and also for the Komen Cup, which is a slightly separate competition but combined here. The Komen Cup is mainly for the Mediterranean countries, although Switzerland and Belgium are now included as well, so seems to be growing all the time. So there will be medals for that as well. So I would assume from the long wait that they do have a lot to look at. And certainly when it comes to the alignment on the acrobatic moves, if you're supposed to be vertical, there is a bit of leeway, but not too much. But the difficulty, a slight reduction to 18.85. Very good actually on the synchronization. That's not too bad at all, 7.5 deduction. They do have the bonus for the apnea, that's 40 extra points. A total score, 173.1698. So the team from Hungary, they've been waiting in the call room. Behind the stage, this is their big moment as they come out here to compete in the free team preliminaries. The theme of this is the ocean, and they start with a difficulty of 26.7. Straight into the combined acrobatic move onto the support. And now a different type of acrobatic move with a platform, so standing on the other competitors. Into the first hybrid. Hopefully keeping the knees dry on those vertical lines. So all of the sections between the hybrids count towards the artistic impression. And straight away onto the support, nicely controlled. They're taking their time over some of the rotations, which is good at the level that they are, but always good to get a bit of speed in it as well. Slight synchronization errors though coming into it. I'd like to see the shoulders a little bit higher on some of those arms. Careful on the alignment. Well, overall, it's a nice team that they've been doing for about 8 months now. They need to continue to work on it with their coach. Obviously, the coach will be fully aware to really nail the timing, because there were quite a few differences on the emphasis on some of the movements there. But you know, it takes a long time to get a team together, and an awful long time to get the timing exactly right. But that really stood out for me, that there were a few little errors there. On the alignment, some of them were very strong, but again, keep that core really, really tight to make sure if you're in a vertical, it is a good vertical. Alignment is even more important than height at this stage, because they're still very young, and if you get the alignment right, then the height will come as you continue to get more experience in the sport. If you like the music, it was called In Dark Seas by the Epic Orchestral Music. They're a very young team, so you know, taking that into consideration, it was a very good swim overall. Many of them, it's their first year in youth.
So
They took the silver at their national championships when it was held in Budapest. And what they enjoy doing is actually drawing all of the different team patterns so that they make sure that they know exactly where they're going to be. Just missed out on finals, some of these swimmers from Hungary, not this team, but last time they competed, they finished 13th at the World Youth Championships and 9th at the last European Youth. That was back in 2022 in France. They like the theme of the ocean because they all have a favorite sea animal. So their difficulty was 26.7. In my opinion, the synchronization wasn't as good as Poland, who went before, who had about 7.5 in deductions. So we'll wait and see. I've been proved wrong many times before. So, but hopefully the judges will agree with me on that one. Coached by Sandra Rozza and Letizia Nikesi. Hopefully they won't be kept waiting too much longer. There were some really nice parts of the team picking out the theme. And it's good to have a theme to work towards. It does help with the coming up with new and unique ideas. I often say in my commentary that I really like it if there's a theme and it's obvious to the judges what that theme is. And credit should be given from the artistic judges if that is the case. Yeah, they're not told what the theme is beforehand, so it's all in the costuming and the actual choreography. So all of the athletes in the teams today will be competing again later on in the figure competition. They have to do 4 figures. That's in place of the technical routines that we get at senior level. And once they've done the 4 figures, then the average will be taken and added onto their preliminary score from today. Always great excitement if you suddenly see yourself on camera. So 14.4 on difficulty, so significant drop from 26.7. Synchro errors is large at 14.7. The total 143.7917. So they have had 4 base marks. The acrobatic moves were absolutely fine, but it was on the hybrids on element 3, 6, 7 and 8. So they will need to work on that before their final swim. Next to swim in this mixed free team preliminary is the team from France. Their theme is Indians and Cowboys. And they have a very high difficulty at 35.65. 30 seconds allowed for the setup here. excellent on the balance, very slightly sideways, but they look full of confidence. I love the height on the thrust, and really held it nicely above the knees. Bonuses for 2 pattern changes and full synchronization. Very slick. Couple of little synchronization errors just at the end. That didn't look as controlled as it could on the platform. They're certainly getting a speed into the movements. Oh, and a big error just at the end there. What a shame, right at the very end. Hopefully she's okay. I think it does look like she is, but she's certainly being given support there. She did look like she was okay, but just needing a little bit of help to get out of the pool. It was a very difficult routine. As I say, 35.65. These routines are really exhausting for a lot of the athletes. As a positive, I did very much like the choreography, but sadly they are going to get quite a few deductions for that with base marks, and also with a significant amount of synchronization errors as well. But the crowd really appreciated that performance. It really was excellent. I'm sure they'll just get her out of the pool, and then she can sit down and relax. So she's just gone across and is standing with one of her coaches at the moment, but looks absolutely fine. Well, what a routine from the European silver medalists. France taking the silver back in 2022. Obviously, some of the athletes were different on that occasion. They also finished 5th at the World Youth Championships when it was held last year. I loved the Indians and cowboys theme. Such a fun routine for the athletes to swim. So they train individually, and then they get together for training camps, which is really difficult, but they all have schooling and everything to think about as well. So as a team, they've only been together for 4 weeks. So I think that was a quite remarkable performance, taking that into consideration. And of course, they are all very excited to be here. They will, of course, swim the team again in the finals, and that's where it counts for the medals. So hopefully it will be a cleaner swim on that occasion. But all of that last section has given the technical controllers, both on the synchronization and on the difficulty, something to really analyze to make sure that the results are exactly right. On the whole, I thought the athletes coped well with the very high difficulty. Their execution was pretty strong. I felt some of the patterns could have been a little bit clearer, particularly in the second half of the routine. Fabulous choreography though, and they're coached by Alexia Vito and Selina Kuchlin. When it comes to the acrobatic moves, of which you will see 3 of them, they can choose from different groups. So there's airborne, which is a featured swimmer in the air, a balance acrobatic move, which is more performed on a support or a stack, a combination, which is a combination of airborne and balance, or platform. So looks like it was just that last hybrid, difficulty down a bit. 203.9314, but of course very much deducted on the synchronization errors at 35.4, which they would have been expecting. But that's certainly good enough to put them into first place with 203.9314, and an excellent performance just until the last few seconds of the routine. It was two base marks on 6 and 9. As we introduce the team from Slovakia. They made finals at the World Youth Championships last year. This is their wilderness theme. Start with a difficulty, 27.2. Very quickly into the balance acrobatic move. Good speed on the rotations. You mustn't under-rotate, but you can over-rotate. And going for another balance move here. Very high risk. Just need to watch their lines a little bit. good to have surprise elements in it like that. That helps with the artistic score. Plenty of variety in the hybrids, the flexibility and the rotations. Just need to be careful of that timing. Nicely onto the support. Spacing between them. That's a view the judges don't have. They judge from the side of the pool. On those rotations, you have to make sure that you go up and then do the full rotation rather than rotating on the way up, which is always a temptation because you do get around a lot quicker if you rotate on the way up, but then it would be a base mark. So that was their wilderness theme routine with their tribal ethnic music. They've known each other a long time, since they were about 8 years of age. Now the team are generally sort of 13, 14. They have one 15-year-old within the team. Did make the finals at the World Championships last year. But I was talking about the different acrobatic moves. They do have the platform one as well, which is where they stand on a more stable support. It's more like the original way that everybody used to do acrobatic moves. And then that can rotate as well for extra bonuses as well. But in this team, they had 2 balance moves. So that's in a support or a stack with one swimmer being held up there. Need really good core strength for that. And then they had a combined one as well, which was airborne and into a balance. Generally, you have athletes that prefer to be the ones that are doing the lifting, the stack or the support swimmers, and then you have athletes that like to be the featured swimmer, the one that's in the air, the one that's at the top of the balance. So their difficulty was 27.2, as we get a chance to have another quick look at some of the action. This is one of the balanced ones here with that full rotation, nicely presented at the end. I've been very impressed with Slovakia in recent years with the choreography that they're coming up with. A lot of good work being done for artistic swimming in Slovakia. Currently, significantly in the lead, we have France, 203.9314. Remember, they pushed up the boundaries on the difficulty, and although they got a couple of base marks, it didn't impact too much. And then we have Poland lying second, 173.1698, and then Hungary, 143.7917. Competition between all of the federations competing is always intense, but it's Always very much a friendly rivalry as well.
I read about many different hobbies. Sylvia loves playing piano and is loves gymnastics and watching hockey.
In addition to the acrobatic groups that I talked about, they also have subgroups as well. So if you're doing an airborne acrobatic move, you can add a jump or a throw into it. If it's a balance, then it's just the stack and the lift. Combined, they can go onto the support, which we've seen today and we saw in the last routine as well, or they can actually go through the support. So they touch them, but then they carry on moving through that support. In a platform, you can either have the standard one with one of the athletes lying in a horizontal position, maybe in a ballet leg to give a bit of support so that the featured swimmer can hold on to the leg, or it can also be in a float, which is quite a pretty way of doing the platform. So the difficulty has been reduced from 27.2. Pretty good on the synchronization errors, not too much. 161.0667. 3 base marks, all on the hybrids, not on the acrobatic moves, so that was on 2, 5 and 9. But that puts them in 3rd place behind Poland and ahead of Hungary.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome team number 5, Italy!
The European bronze medalists from 2022, the team from Italy. This is their new world routine, a very high difficulty of 36.05. Really fell forward on that balance there. The second balance going a lot better, but still slightly sideways. You have to make sure that your legs get all the way round on those 2 directional rotations. I would have liked to have seen her legs a little bit higher in the air for a nicer shape there. Looked a bit tentative. But I like the height they're getting. Nice on the spin. Very slick on the pattern changes. Musicality good. keep the energy going right to the end. Bonuses for pattern changes, remember, when they're done within the hybrid. Well, a very difficult routine there from Italy. Didn't quite get off to the start that they would have wanted on the first acrobatic move, and did fall slightly sideways on the second one as well. But there is an allowance, so hopefully that will be okay, the second one. Finished 9th at the World Youth Championships. I must say it's very, very impressive, the standards that we're seeing from such young athletes. The future of the sport certainly looks very bright indeed. We have a team of coaches: Silvia De Palis, Giorgio Mazzarella, Carolina Camardella and Carlotta Di Mario. Takes a lot of hard work to pull a team like this together, and especially when you're working on the timing and the synchronization of it as well. A lot of work is done with videos and put it then into a slow motion. So their degree difficulty is the second highest. So it's good to see them pushing themselves, and the ability of the athletes. That was really nice on the balance there, showing really good flexibility in that split position as well. Their presentation was nice, but I would like to see the shoulders a little bit higher here. So their degree difficulty is just slightly more than France, who had a 35.65. Theirs is a 36.05. It's Greece, who are competing last, that are going for the highest at 39.95. So really challenging these young athletes. Whilst it's good to be challenged, the coaches need to be very aware of what the limitations are as well, because it can be quite demoralizing when you push through those limits. I'm not saying that Italy do this, but with some countries, they push through the limits. They try and go for the difficulty because they think that that's what they should be doing. And of course, it's very demoralizing because they end up with a lot of base marks because they can't cope with that difficulty. But that certainly isn't the case for Italy. But the technical controllers, once again, analysing the performance. Plenty of support for the Italians here in Athens. Very coordinated with the shirts. So behind the stage that you see on the left, there's a 50-meter pool, and that's where a lot of the training is done without music. And then when they're training with music, they move into the diving pool. Our difficulty has reduced down to 27.7, but the difference between them and France, synchronization error, is only 6.7. So that puts them into first place, 222.3250. So space marks on 4 and 8. So the first acrobatic move must have deemed to be okay.
Please welcome team number 6, Spain.
Spain, the current gold medalists from the last Youth Championships, the European, and a silver medalist from the World Youth Championships. They take to the stage difficulty of 34.85. Their theme and music is Avatar. Very nice start on the airborne acrobatic move. And here the thrust, they have to stop above the knees. Always very good at the transitions and the choreography. Solid on the balance. So much energy. Bonuses for full synchronization and pattern changes. Making those rotations nice and clear. Need to be a little bit careful of the line there, or I'd like to have seen them show it a bit longer before moving out. An excellent swim there from the team from Spain. So much intensity within the moves. Very enjoyable to watch. They've only been together a short time. Most of them are rookies for international competition. So they certainly wouldn't have been members of the team that took the gold last time, or the silver at the World Championships. But I am sure that they were very inspired by their fellow competitors. It's a very difficult routine again at 34.85. I felt that the intensity was really good, as I said. Just a few times they started to anticipate on some of the pattern changes. So you have to know exactly what count to start moving, and don't get ahead of yourself and move slightly too early. Every movement is done to a count. although of course they can hear the music underneath the water. Also, I felt towards the end they were getting so much speed into the hybrids, which was fantastic to see, and I really admire them for getting that much speed, but it lacked a little bit of height on a few occasions because of the amount of moves that they were doing. They like to train together without any music at all or taps, just looking at each other and try and get the synchronization perfect, even without having the music or taps, which is very difficult to do. But these rotations were good. As I say, the rotations have to, if they're doing a 360, have to be all the way around at maximum height. They can't anticipate and start turning on the way up. As I say, a difficult routine. Overall, I think the synchronization was pretty good, so the hard work they've been putting into that has hopefully paid off. Just a few small little details, as I say, on some of the anticipation of some of the moves. But it's about controlling the nerves as well, and that's why it's so good that we have these youth championships at continental level and at world level as well, to get them used to competing in front of judges and a big audience. Of course, the free team event is one of the events that is included in the Olympic Games now, and because it's now a mixed event, up to 2 men can compete in the team as well. But when it comes to the Olympics, you have to do 3 different types of team for 1 medal or 1 gold medal. You have to do a technical team, then you do a free team, and then you do an acrobatic team, and then that's all combined into 1 score to see what the final result will be. So it's going to be very, very exciting, especially with all of these new rules as well. A slight deduction on the difficulty, but not many synchronization errors at all. 227.6688. And into a first place ahead of Italy. So it sounds like there were 2 base marks on element 2, which was their first hybrid, and the balance move on the second acrobatic move. But still, nevertheless, they are round about just over 5 points ahead of Italy. Well done, Team Spain. Team Bulgaria. This music will get everybody stamping their feet. They've very much taken note of who their hosts are, and they're going with Zorba the Greek. This is the first time that they've swam this together. Difficulty 21.85. So they've done the airborne acrobatic move, now it's a balance. Good spacing. Just a bit different on the timing. Some anticipating and one a little bit too slow. Good alignment on the spin. Having to make sure that the spacing is just right to be able to fit that split position in. Nicely round on the rotation. Just looked a little bit unclear there on the choreography of what came next. Very nice pattern change. So bonuses right at the end for those two pattern changes and throughout the routine for full synchronization. Having said that, some of the synchronization wasn't quite where it needed to be in that routine, but it's fantastic to see Bulgaria here with an official national team. It's only their second time in a big championship. So we are delighted to welcome them to this European Youth Championships. Nice choice of music to start with the Zorba, the Greek. Really synonymous with the country. Very nice, bright costumes as well. And hopefully they are very much enjoying their experience of competing internationally. Coached by Galina Andanova and Irina Dimitrova, who did the choreography of that routine. So their difficulty started at 21.85.
This is the first time this team performs together.
So their presentation was quite nice, but you could see on some of the hybrids that they did and on the acrobatic moves, they just need to get a little bit more intensity into it, which will then help to get the timing right as well, so that they don't get the synchronization errors. But it's a very enjoyable team to watch. So we have 5 more teams to swim. Currently in the lead with 227.6688 is Spain, closely followed by Italy at 222.3250. Every one of the teams so far has been awarded the apnea bonus. If you weren't watching earlier, that is a bonus if they spend 50% of the routine at the surface, 50% underneath the water on the hybrids. It's for the safety of the athletes so that they're not underneath the water for a ridiculous amount of time. And it also helps to add to the choreography with the transitions for the artistic score. When the team swim, they have their eyes open underneath the water, so they are very aware of where all of their teammates are. You have to have very good spatial awareness as an artistic swimmer. And as I said, they can hear the music underneath the water. But the scores are available. Difficulty reduced from 21.85 to 17.3, so not much. A lot of deduction for the synchronization errors, which I was expecting. Good on the artistic impression. Total score 153.6334, and sixth place for Bulgaria. The team from Switzerland, fifth at the last European Youth Championships, 10th at the World Youth. This is their robots-themed routine, and they start with difficulty of 28.25. Through the support there. Very slight errors already on the timing. They need to be careful. Very close together, which is good. Very nice pattern changes, 3 in total. Good originality in some of the choreography. Didn't quite get the alignment on the entry there and needed to really push those legs together. But I do like the way they're doing the pattern changes within the hybrids. Very clear. And a very nice pattern at the end as well. It's a very good routine from Switzerland. The athletes really looked like they were getting behind the robot theme. You could see that they had choreographed also the facial expressions, sometimes looking quite severe and other times a bit more relaxed during that performance. When it comes to the choreography of the feet, this is a new trend really over the last couple of years, just to put more into the hybrids on the artistic side as well. I think my personal view on it is that I really like a lot of it, but I'm not overly keen on the two flat feet, which a lot of them do on the two-directional rotation, because it helps to show the judges that they have got all of the way around. But if it's done well, the feet choreography can look absolutely beautiful as well. I like the way they were so close together. The pattern changes were very good, not too much anticipation there at all. The choreography was from the elite national team, and then it was modified and of course adapted to the new rules. It is a new group of athletes from when they competed last year. And of course, being in Switzerland, they speak 4 different languages, but actually generally they speak English during the training camps because of their coaches, but sometimes use French, Italian and German, multilingual, very impressive indeed. They also have one athlete that does all of the jumps on the acrobatic moves and another that does the balance, so it isn't always the same athlete. Coached by Susanna de Angelis Minicini and Pamela Nicod. They did the choreography as well, along with Rosella Pabiri. Susanna, many of you I'm sure will know Giorgio Minicini, the world champion Italian swimmer. So they started with 28.25, pretty good. A few synchronization errors, but a score of 198.0542, putting them into 4th place. That's just behind France, but quite a bit ahead of Poland, about 25 points ahead of Poland, and just 5 points behind France. Well done, Team Switzerland.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome team number 9, Estonia.
Good to see Estonia competing here. A team aged between 12 and 15. This is their stylish dance. And they start with a difficulty of 24. Very nice start. I like the choreography. They were practicing that a lot just before the competition started. That flip over into the split position. Just need to be careful of the timing, the one on the top left of the screen, just getting ahead of herself, but that was much better just at the end. if you're doing a tuck somersault, if it's one rotation, you have to get all of the way round. Very quick pattern change, but they are quite spread out. They need to start working a little bit closer together. The unbalanced move needs to make sure that they are further over. Very quickly in and out of the acrobatic. Need to keep it tidy here. One athlete looks like she's struggling a little bit. Let's hope she can make it to the end. And well done, she did make it through to the end. It just goes to show how difficult this sport is, really. She just started to lose her way a little bit, so I was a little bit concerned for her. But great to see Estonia competing here. I haven't seen them much over the years. And it's, you know, to have a full team here, not just the solo and duet, is very impressive indeed. It was their stylish dance theme routine. The music selection was by Diablo, the Swing Orchestra. There were 3 different styles of dance within the performance. There was twist, tap, and gypsy motifs. The routine was choreographed at the end of last year. They have competed in Finland earlier in the year, finishing second. Coached by Anastasia Rukowski, who herself used to be a former swimmer. There will be quite a few synchronization errors, and overall on the execution, their technical skills need to continue to be worked on, like here, trying to keep the height on those rotations for all 8 athletes, which is quite hard to do. But again, not getting that anticipation on some of the moves, not getting ahead of themselves. Another common fault, which I mentioned, is making sure that when they're rotating, that they get that full rotation in. So if it's 360, you get the legs at maximum height, and then you do the rotation. You don't rotate on the way up. And if it's the 2-directional, that they get the whole body round. On the unbalanced move, their feet have to be within sort of a cone area and not past the 45 degree. Lots of things that the technical controllers are looking at. When it comes to flexibility moves, sometimes they have to show it for a certain length of time, and also make sure that the leg is horizontal if it's meant to be horizontal along the surface of the water. So making sure that the joints are really pushed to their maximum. Difficult difficulty has gone from 24 to 10.75. 131.7270 is their overall score. Pretty good on the artistic impressions though, so lots to take from that. And that puts them into 9th place. So they look a little bit disappointed, but they're not as experienced as some of the athletes that are competing here. And as a nation doing artistic swimming, they're just starting to come up through the ranks. So they should be very proud of the fact that they are here competing in European Championships. I'm sure they will learn from it. 3 more teams to swim. The next one being Israel, 8th at the World Championships, the Youth Championships last year. And their theme is robots. They start with a difficulty of 27.05. You can see they've worked hard on getting all the way round in that rotation. Be careful on the alignment. The musicality, the timing with the music is good. And pretty sharp with the movements. Over-rotating to make sure that there aren't base marks. A nice solid hold there. Just losing the body alignment slightly on that balance. Some very nice choreography within that performance, really showing the robots theme. Music was robot mix. They've only been together for about 2.5 months, so again, very impressive that they can get to that level so quickly. The synchronization, there were a few errors throughout the performance, but well, you know, I'm not surprised when they've been together such a short space of time. but also they need to continue to work on their technical ability so that they don't fall off the hybrids, particularly at the end of each hybrid. The vertical alignment for the rotations was good, but sometimes they were anticipating the coming out, the crashing out at the end of some of those hybrids. Some of the athletes were in the team that came 8th at the World Youth Championships and 6th at the European Youth Championships. Coached by Eti Levy-Cohen and Alexandra Kunin, both of whom used to swim at the same club together, so they are very used to being together, working together. The team like to make TikTok videos when they're not busy in the pool training. Just need to watch the alignment then on the patterns, just slightly out. It was better here, but the synchronization wasn't exactly right. You just need one athlete to anticipate, and then, yeah, it just really can affect the overall look of the performance. So their difficulty was 27.05. Israel have qualified a duet to swim at the Olympic Games. That all kicks off the second week of the Olympics. We have the diving and swimming first, and then we move on to the artistic swimming right at the very end. But for those that have qualified, a very exciting year. But still lots of competitions. Ahead of that, we have the European Junior Championships in Malta. We have the European Senior Championships in Belgrade. We have the European Masters in Belgrade. We have a World Cup, which is next weekend, and that's taking place in Markham in Canada. So I'm sure everyone is very much looking forward to that as well. And then we have a World Cup Super Final taking place in Budapest. So a very busy schedule indeed this year. It's quite unusual to have the World Championships and the European Championships in the same year, but it's all playing a bit of catch up over COVID and also necessary for Olympic qualifications as well, the final spots. Final spots awarded in Doha in February. So a little bit of a long wait for them, which is a little bit concerning. The difficulty was 27.05, and the scores are about to come up. A bit of a reduction on the difficulty, good on the artistic impression. 185.8001, and that puts them into 5th place. So just slightly behind Switzerland, but ahead of Poland. So currently in the lead we have Spain, followed by Italy, then France, Switzerland, Israel, Poland, Slovakia, Bulgaria, Hungary and Estonia, with 2 more teams to swim. And the penultimate team is the team from Czechia. The music is the Avengers from the soundtrack, along with epic drum battle. Their difficulty starts at 29.9. Very quickly into the first balance. Bonuses for gripping on the hands. It's very hard to do that and hold the balance. All needed to be careful on the alignment after that thrust level 9. Through the support there. Very quickly moving sideways. The pull pattern is important for the artistic score. Just watch the body alignment. So keen to do the pattern changes, but the execution has got to be right as well. Nice spacing for the connected. And again, anticipating really falling off some of those vertical lines. Going for the 3 pattern changes. For the team from Czechia, took first place in the Wolf Cup, which is an international meet which is held in Belgium each year, and they took the first just earlier this year. Coached by Alzbeta Lukasova. They needed to be very careful on the execution of some of those hybrids, because you can't afford to run the risk of getting base marks just to get a small bonus on a pattern change. And it's all about the choreography for those pattern changes, that they are done at a time where the athletes can do the execution of the hybrid correctly, but still move to a new pattern. Because they were quite spread out, some of the athletes had quite a long way to move, so it would be helpful for them if they could make their patterns just a bit tighter, and then also not anticipate some of the movements, particularly again at the end of the hybrids, when you should be in a vertical, already thinking about what's coming next, finish one thing off properly before then moving on and thinking about the next thing. Very difficult though, because these routines are very fast, so their presentation was good, as you can see here.
They have several different hobbies.
And with one leg out of the water there, they should have the whole leg out of the water, but they will build on that. But just these synchronization errors, which you can't really afford to make. But there were lots of positives as well in the choreography. The music from the Avengers soundtrack. They've been together for about 1.5 years now, so they are quite an established team and look like they're very much enjoying the experience of being here. So once these scores have gone up, we have just one more team to swim. They'll get a very good welcome, I'm sure. It's going to be the team from Greece. Once again, a lovely design on the costume. It's nice when it's something vibrant that really shows up through the water. As well as having the European Championships here, it is also the Komen Cup as well. So there will be medals awarded for that as well when it comes to the final events for the Mediterranean countries. So they are delighted with that, currently lying in a 5th place. Good on the artistic impression. 186.5064, and only a very slight deduction in the difficulty. Well done, Team Czechia. The final team to swim, and it's left to the hosts, Team Greece. This has the highest degree difficulty assigned to it of 39.95, and the theme is winter. Very steady on the balance. So precise with the moves. Very good start for Greece. Good height, keeping the knees dry here when the legs are in the vertical. I love the speed that they're getting into this performance. But small synchronization errors coming into it. Good transitions, nice pattern changes there. Well, they certainly could not have given that any more. Really enjoyed that swim. So vibrant throughout. Huge amount of speed in the hybrids and also within the choreography as well and the transitions. And it's a very difficult routine at 39.95. They wanted to use the theme of winter because they get very cold and they're often complaining that they're cold in the water. And their choreography, they wanted to show that it's tough to get through winter, but it can be beautiful as well with the snow. They've only been together for 4 months, so lots of great work by their coaches, Anastasia Gudseva and Natalia Chenetska, who both also did the choreography as well. The music was so dynamic, wasn't it? And they really got behind that. They looked like their technical skills were strong. And a lot of them were in the team that won the silver and the free combination at last year's World Championships. Greece just missed out on medals in this event at the Europeans. They finished 4th, so they will be very keen to get up on the podium here, especially as they are the hosts. And they were 6th in this event at the Worlds last year. So if they've got the full assigned degree difficulty, then the score will be very high indeed. The spacing between them here was very good. And that really helps with getting the pattern changes. Also very quickly into their acrobatic moves and showing good flexibility on that acrobatic move as well. I thought they started really strongly. The first balance acrobatic move and also their first hybrid, which actually had a difficulty of 7.3, which, yeah, is really challenging, and 4 pattern changes within that as well. So a very strong start. Currently lying in first place is Spain, 227.6688. Italy not far behind, 222.3250, and then France, 203.9314, but they did of course have that quite big error at the end of their performance. So the scores from today will be added to the figures which all of these athletes will do later, and then they will swim again in a free final. The scores from the preliminaries don't carry forward, so any perhaps errors that were made in the preliminaries are discounted. They can change the difficulty if they want to. So sometimes it's a little bit tactical. They may not have put their full assigned degree difficulty. But they are straight into the top of the rankings, into first place. Excellent on the synchronization errors, just 7.6. Deduction to 30.45 from 39.95. 2 base marks on 5 and 8 for an overall score 233.9772, and that's 6.3 points ahead of second place Spain. So a fabulous result there for Greece, and really well deserved. A great routine. They push the difficulty, but they have the technical skills to be able to perform it. Well done, athletes and coaches. So we will shortly have a chance of seeing the final leaderboard. And here we have it. Confirmation, Greece leading the way ahead of Spain and Italy. France, though, in the finals, I think they'll be up there. They had that big error, of course. Switzerland, Czechia, Israel, Poland, Slovakia, Bulgaria. All 12 will be swimming in the final. And Hungary, Estonia, just bringing up the rear there, 11th and 12th place. So we'll be back again tomorrow with the start of the finals. For me, Andrea Holland, it's goodbye for now.